Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our INSEAD application walkthrough. Let's get started. My name is Shimri Winters. In case you don't know me, I'm a London Business School graduate, and I'm head of the MBA strategy team here at ARINGO. Um, this is my only marketing slide. ARINGO are very good. We're a boutique MBA admissions consulting firm. We help candidates get into MBAs. Regular candidates get into top MBAs, both in the US and Europe and Asia. What do we do? Everything. We help candidates get into top MBAs. How do we do that? We strategize. We help them choose the best schools for them, project management, when to apply, where to apply to, school selection, and then we help with the actual application. Check us out on aringo.com. We're very good. Let's get started. So, a bit about this presentation. If you're looking at INSEAD Business School, you're not sure about the business school, you want to know more about the INSEAD essays, recommendations, check out our other videos on INSEAD Business School. I've recorded several videos, even one comparing INSEAD to LBS, where I'm fighting shy and explaining how LBS is amazing. But there's also a walkthrough through the 7 INSEAD essays, letters of recommendation, CV. Check that out on another video. This video will only talk about the actual online application, and we'll go through all that. So this was the agenda for the previous INSEAD video. And as you can see, we go through the resume and essays recommendation. Check out the notes of this video and you'll find the link to that video. Okay, just a bit about INSEAD before we go walk through the online application. It's obviously one of the best business schools in the world. I mean, check out any MBA ranking, you will see INSEAD at the top, including #1 in the Financial Times in 4 out of the last 6 or 7 years. So, definitely one of the best business schools in the world. You can pause and see here all the special attributes that INSEAD has. I would say the most special attribute is that INSEAD has 2 campuses and 2 start dates. So there's the September term and the January term, we call the J term. And there's the campus in Singapore and the campus in Fontainebleau in France. So keep that in mind when you apply, kind of think where you want to apply to. Average GMAT is probably around 645, 655 in the Focus Edition. Is INSEAD right for me again? We have a lot of videos about that, so check those out. But I would like to say that INSEAD is probably one of the fastest full-time MBA programs. It's a 10-month program. The J term has an internship, the September term doesn't. So it's a bit intense. And is this the right application? Is this the right business school for you? Up to you. So you have here some more stats about INSEAD and the academic life and the student life. One of the best schools. Again, we have 3 or 4 videos just talking about INSEAD. Check those out. And it's amazing for career development. I did want to put some graphs here. And as you can see, if we look at the starting salaries, they were roughly 160,000 euros, including bonuses. And most of the candidates move geography, and a lot of the candidates also changed their sector, so where they were working and the job function, what they were doing post MBA. Well, it makes sense because a lot of candidates go to consulting and they usually come from another sector. So not a huge surprise to see that McKinsey are one of the bigger recruiters, and BCG, etc. Okay, so that was my talking very fast, 120 seconds about INSEAD. Now, very quickly, we will move to the walkthrough of the online application. If you've prepared your entire INSEAD application and now just want to go through the online and fill out everything, this is the video for you. If you're not there yet and you haven't worked on your INSEAD essays yet, I would pause this video, keep it, it's an important one. Watch the other videos about the INSEAD application, which explain each essay and how to answer it, and then come back to this video, which will help you explain what to do with the online application. So, without further ado, I'm sharing my screen, and here we are filling out an application for INSEAD. So this is the first page, and I know it sounds strange, but make sure you're on the right program. INSEAD, like we said, they have two full-time MBA start dates every year. They have executive MBA. They have maybe another degree, executive education. So just make sure you're applying to the right program. So in this case, I'm applying for class of July 2027. It starts in August 26. That's the intake. Is this the program I'm applying to? I hope it is. Um, so you have here this campus choice on the first page. So it's great. Like we said, NCAD has actually three campuses. One in Abu Dhabi, which is for executive MBAs. So you shouldn't see that here if you're applying for a full-time MBA. And you can change your preference. This doesn't mean you're going to go and to this campus. This doesn't mean you won't, but it just gives some kind of indication to NCAD. Very common just to leave it blank. That's fine as well if you don't have something specific. Okay, that was easy. What I didn't mention before, and again, if you've seen some of my other NCAD videos, is that NCAD has the longest possible application, with the essays, very long essays and a lot of essays, 6 or 7 mandatory essays plus some optional essays. And, um, 2 recommendations, a CV. You also need um, to interview twice. It's a very, very long process. The online application is, if I may say so, a bit ugly, but a bit straightforward. Okay, so um, this page maybe is not the nicest GUI in the world and not the nicest interface. I've seen some nicer ones, but it's kind of straightforward. So we're just going to read what needs to be done, especially for the kind of open boxes. So here in the personal data, again, I don't think you will have too many issues. What's your name? What's your address? I think you'll manage to do that. Phone number, yes, and some emails. Okay, so I think you'll manage to do all that. Um, a lot of people ask me, like, LinkedIn, is this mandatory? So I think in NCAD's case, you see this little star. So it actually says it's mandatory. I've had some military candidates, etc., that don't have a LinkedIn. What should they do? Just open one. Okay, open one and open a blank one. It's a mandatory field, just do it. Okay, GMAT. This is the score page. NCAD doesn't have a GMAT waiver. You need a GMAT to apply to NCAD or a GRE. And as you can see, they give the option to give your GMAT or a GMAT Focus Edition or a GRE result. Like we said, NCAD average is around 645, 655. Obviously, you want to aim for a high GMAT if possible. English test. NCAD actually have a minimum on their site. I think it's 105 for the TOEFL and some equivalents for the IELTS and the PTE. That's quite high, higher than some other business schools. It's not mandatory. I have seen candidates get in with 1 or 2 points less, but NCAD put an emphasis on this. So again, it's not a video on what they're looking for, but they are looking for international experience and people that can communicate in English. So the English score is important. You can just put it in here. And that was pretty straightforward, I hope. Okay, this is where it gets a bit interesting. When they talk about your academic degree, so you can just put here, I studied in Afghanistan. And okay, let's take a country where they might actually have names of universities. And here, my Australian national level, and I have a graduate degree. And okay, just fill it out. It's very, very simple. And if you got any awards, okay, for example, Dean's List is great, cum laude is great. Any award you can think of during your academic experience, please do that. Okay, later on, we're going to have to upload our academic transcript. So, course by course with the grade for each course and kind of your degree. Okay, Shimri Winters was awarded BA in computer science. So those are two documents. You might have to merge them together that you'll have to upload later on in the upload section. It's a bit strange. Why isn't it done here? But fine, I'm sure we'll manage with that. Okay, I think we've done a third of the way. And as you can see, it's all pretty straightforward and we're doing fine. Um, let's continue with this next section, which is the work experience. This is probably the most important section, but also quite straightforward. Okay, what's your company? What's your current position? I'm sure you can manage to fill that in. Um, it has to be correlated to your CV. Okay, so it's going to look really strange if you're going to put here PwC and your CV says Pepsi. Okay, so just make sure, put your current job, current position. A lot of people ask me, why are they asking for my salary? That's a bit embarrassing. I'm not sure I want to say that. It might be a bit low. Maybe I work in a government organization. It might be a bit high. Maybe I'm a trader or some kind of a lucrative salary. Um, just be honest. Okay, I don't think this is going to affect your chances for a scholarship. I don't think this is going to affect much your chances to get in or not get in. I would look at this as school statistics. They want to do an average and say, on average, INSEAD grads were making 50,000 euros and now post MBA, they're making 100,000. And they just want to understand kind of the situation, not of you. I would even look at it as average. So I think you can give them the information. It's not a huge secret. Again, if they know you are a Deloitte accountant in Germany, they can probably know what kind of salary you make. Um, if you're an entrepreneur, if you don't have an office, very specific questions, like very specific situations, you're going to have to fill out these mandatory places. So if you don't have a website, put your LinkedIn. If you don't have a phone number, put your mobile. If you don't have a contact person, okay, put yourself. Okay, so you're going to have to fill these things out. Sponsorship is the only thing that people don't always, it's not always clear. If you are a sponsored applicant, when I say sponsored, this means your company are paying for some or all of your MBA. That's the only sponsorship I can think of. Then you say, are your employment, is your employer paying you full time or part time? Do you intend to apply for scholarships? Again, if it's full tuition, then you can't, you shouldn't apply for scholarship. But if it's part tuition, you can also say yes. The only thing here is I don't always fill it out is time commitment. If your application mentions that you're returning to your employer, if your application, your letters of recommendation, or one of them, your manager or your employer is mentioning that you're returning to your job, then maybe you want to put time commitment. I'll give you an example. A lot of McKinsey consultants return to McKinsey. A lot of BCG consultants return to BCG post INSEAD. They do a 10-month MBA and they go back to their work. And sometimes the MBA is paid for, lucky people, and sometimes it isn't. So then if you're returning to your employer, but not getting any tuition paid, then you could put a time commitment here. Again, this is not mandatory, so you decide. And you can kind of see how are they paying and how are you paying for the program. Additional source of funding, give me a scholarship. No, you can just leave this empty again. It's not even mandatory. Right. So we've done that. Now there's kind of a bit of a professional background. A lot of candidates ask me, why are they asking for this? They have my CV. What do they want? But still, here at INSEAD, they ask for a full list of your full-time professional positions. And you can see that they actually say, even if it's within the same company, we want it twice. So what you need to put here before, I think we put the current position, and here you need to put all your past ones. So again, I worked in Azerbaijan for PwC. Okay, I think you get this. And when did I start? In January, but I left already in January as well. And my title was, I was the CEO, and it was in wherever, London. Yeah, Azerbaijan, London. And I made 100K. Okay, and that was in whatever. So pretty straightforward. There isn't much proof. There isn't much stuff you need to do here. All the full-time positions, if you happen to work before your undergraduate degree in a full-time position, for example, if you were in the army or in a government position or some kind of full-time position, you can mention that here as well. Other information, this is kind of, so you can kind of sum up the full-time position again. Why are they asking me to sum up the number of months? Just because they're lazy. They want to make sure that you have more than the minimum and maybe less than the maximum. Um, INSEAD typically don't recruit students with more than 10 years of experience, and I would say kind of a red line for them would be 12 to 13 years of experience would be really the very, very, very high end of experience. So 12 times 12 years times 12 months. If you have more than 144 months of full-time work experience, you might want to check out my video MBA over 30s. This might not be the right place for you, but just try and work that out. And again, this preferably or has to be over 24 months to even be eligible for INSEAD. If you have any gaps in your full-time work experience, again, I hope you explain them somewhere in your application. You should have, but you have here 35 words to explain, between, I finished my my internship, my legal internship in a law firm in December 23, and then I worked for 3 months on my bar exams. I think it's legitimate to take 3 months to work on your bar exams. Or after 5 years of a tough military experience, I took 6 months to travel Latin America. I think that's legitimate as long as you just explain it. Um, Part-time experience also very important. If you work part-time during your degree, that would qualify for part-time. Even if you feel it was full-time, but it was during your degree, it's probably counted as part-time. So that would go here. And if you've done any internships, short-term internships, up to 3 months or non-paid, just put them here. Okay, not very complicated, very copy pasting from your CV. Okay, this is where we actually get to the essays. Check out my other videos about essays. So you actually copy paste your job description essays here and your career essay here. And again, I'm just going to skip that. Just wanted to say, unlike other schools where you upload the document, here you copy paste everything into the website. I actually like this format better. There's no mistakes. You don't have to think, is it going to be PDF or not PDF? Okay, as we said, INSEAD's your international exposure is super important to INSEAD and other kind of international MBAs. So I wouldn't skimp here on anything. If you lived abroad, even if you were 6 years old, mention it. If you traveled, mention it. If you work with international clients, mention it. Mention any international exposure you can think of. Again, there's no reason to mention here 50 things. That might look strange. Try and mention the 3 to 5 strongest international exposure experiences you have. If you've never left your country, still add here something. I work with international clients. Okay, so I think that's important. There's various activities here, work, travel, leisure, holiday, whatever. So that's good. Uh, Mention the languages you can speak. I think we all can do that. And you can decide what your level is. Let's be very honest that native is native. Okay, but if you're a beginner, then you can kind of say, okay, how do I know I'm a beginner? Because I studied abroad 1 year, or I took the TOEFL and practiced for it, or something like that. And do use it at work. Super important, again, to try if English is one of the main languages at your work, I would kind of mention English. I think that's important. Okay, here again, there's a mixture of an essay, okay, which activities you participate in. And then, super annoying, although there's a whole essay about this, and then you've probably mentioned a few activities in your resume, They still want a list of your activities. But this is just a list. Okay, so this is just, I volunteer, go volunteer, and when I did it. And then just, again, what do I do in this volunteering? Well, no, maybe not a competition, but maybe I'm a lecturer. Okay, so that's just, your activity. So you volunteer and then you play volleyball somewhere. So let's do some kind of sports activity as well. And oh, skiing, definitely skiing. And what's your thing? I'm an amateur. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward, but here you have this whole essay where you want to actually explain these activities and probably explain why you do them and maybe what you got out of them. Not many people have awards from extracurricular activities and interests, but maybe you do. Maybe you got the mayor's award for helping the homeless. Maybe you got some kind of other award, and that's fine. This is a good place to kind of put some extracurricular stuff. It's definitely not mandatory. Not everybody got a mayor's award for whatever. Okay, supplement information. Again, this is where people start getting nervous. I've been working on this for hours. What's happening? So first of all, there's an essay here, as you can see. Um, I think this one isn't a big deal, okay? And it just says, can you please share if you plan to attend the program with a partner? From my perspective, an essay is anything with more than 50 words, yeah. So what you should do is obviously put this aside, work on it, and then copy and paste in. But apart from that, it's not so complicated. So first question is, which other schools are you applying to? And I would just be honest, again, this is more for INSEAD's statistics. It's not a big deal. Okay, don't overthink it. Definitely, there might be some nemesises like HSC Paris or London Business School. So if you put here, I've applied to INSEAD and I've also applied to Beirut Open University, that might seem a bit strange, two very different schools in different geographies. But if you put here HSC Paris, that's, INSEAD might say, he's applying like to our nemesis school or to the school here opposite the road. That might add something. But again, don't overthink it. It's probably more for the school statistics. This is about the partner. Dual degree. Are you thinking about a dual degree? Well, I haven't seen many candidates at INSEAD going for a dual degree. But if you want, you can mark that here. And they have an MA in International Relations that you can mark. If you've been to the military, again, you just put here some dates, and that's fine. Okay, we're at the letters of recommendation stage, and this is pretty simple. You key in the details of your recommender, so John Smith and John's email address and his number. You can put like an international number, and you probably won't put digits, and that's it. Okay, so you don't see the recommendation. You just send the recommender through the system. He gets a recommendation form that he needs to fill out. Check out our other videos that explain more about that. And you have to put two. It's mandatory for INSEAD to put two referees. And we're nearly at the end. So here we're at the official essays. As I said, I think INSEAD actually have a few other essays hiding inside, like the job description. But here are the official essays. Again, we can talk about those in another video, and you just copy and paste them. As you see, there's a word count. Try and keep the word count. So go to MS Word, count or whatever, count the words, make sure you're on the word count. It's like you'll see that you can actually paste more than the 500 or 400 or 300 words. But why? Okay, like there's no reason to paste 302 words when they ask for 300. So just keep the word count. That's it. We're at the end. Supporting documents. You remember in this application, they kept saying you'll be uploading documents later. So transcripts. If you studied in one university, I would just put it on one document. Why to make things complicated? If you studied in two or three universities, that's fine. I always like to add the official degree certificate. Yes, what did I say? Shimri Winters BA in computer science. If they don't ask for it specifically, what you can do is just merge, find on Google PDF merge something, and merge like the certificate with your transcripts, and then you can just upload everything in one go. This is like the GMAT, I think or the GRE. You can put your unofficial score report, print screen, whatever you find on the GMAT website. Language certificate if you're needed an eligible language English language eligibility test and you did one of these tests. So again, you can just put here score. If you won any awards or scholarships or anything that you wanted to add, definitely upload it. A lot of people don't have this. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry. Additional letters, again, if I've never seen someone upload additional letters, but if you have anything very specific, for example, you got a President's Award, something like that, that would probably be the place to put it here or in additional or in, other documents. Again, I haven't seen many people upload these documents, but if you're a CPA or you've passed a bar exam and it's very important for you to put it, again, it's definitely not mandatory, but this would be the right place. And then you do your CV here, and that's fine. That was it. Once you submit the application, INSEAD have a video component, which is mandatory, and it will open up for you once you submit this application. And I can't submit it, as you can see, because I have a lot of open places. So it's going to give me all my mistakes now. And as you can see, error, I cannot submit. Yes, Shimri, fix all these things, current work experience. Again, we have a whole video explaining about INSEAD interview, but also about the video essay. Basically, it's I think INSEAD this year did 2 questions where you have like 1 minute to think and then 1 minute to answer. I love that section. It kind of makes this robotic and cold application warmer, right? Because it kind of gives INSEAD a picture of who you are. Are you like me that speaks very fast or slowly? Are you passionate? Do you know it to speak in English? Can you tackle a new question that you haven't thought about for 1 minute? So that's that section. And that's it. I've spoken very fast because I wanted to cover everything in this video. But if you have any questions, these are our details. Check us out on aringo.com. If you're at this stage, you must have submitted your INSEAD, so good luck with that. And fingers crossed, we do interview prep, so let us know if you receive an interview at INSEAD. And good luck to everyone. See you in the next videos. Bye-bye.